Hello and welcome, I'm Bizz, and I figured I was going to walk you through a day of my dailies in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now this is actually my second island. This is the first ever Animal Crossing game I've played, and my first island I made a lot of mistakes. Once I learned about the game, I realized I definitely wanted to do things differently. As well, at some point, someone came and covered a majority of my main portion of my island with bells, and I had like a crazy amount of bells, and I no longer had to work to I felt like I couldn't earn anything, like I just had to buy it with these free bells that I didn't earn. So I wanted to start over and really put in the effort and do it myself and do it the way I realized I wanted to from the beginning. So first off is always seeing what Isabel has to say. Look at that! So, as you can tell, I have just kind of restarted my island a month ago because it looks like Nook's Canny is about to be improved. I'm glad. Usually Saturdays are pretty mellow because I still haven't had the KK concert yet. Alright, so first thing I do is I check out my beeping mailbox. I bought some cute little yellow rain boots yesterday. It looks like that's the only mail I do have. This is the first day of spring. Yesterday, I made a snow person. Today, now I can't. Hey, I really actually like that. What a nice reaction. Beautiful. Awesome. And sneak little, thing I want to tell you. You know how you always get your very first camper, you have to accept them? This is Raymond, who is supposedly the rarest villager. He was my random camper I absolutely had to accept. And I really enjoy it because I actually really like him. This was my first year partaking in festivals, so we did that. And man, colors are crazy. I've just been used to the winter for so long. So, first thing I do is I always check my Nook Miles Plus because I like to do all my Nook Miles Plus things. Sometimes they overlap with what my dailies are, but even if they don't, I want to complete these first because then maybe one of the following 5 that don't have the multiplier will connect with my dailies anyways. So it looks like I want to talk to people, sell some fruit. I don't always do the customized ones because, I don't know, I like saving my customization boxes. So I don't always do them, but let's go talk to Raymond. We need to be able to talk to somebody for our daily. Wonderful, thank you, Raymond. Who else do we have here? Let's see if somebody's in the house. Maybe somebody is making something. I intentionally have not unlocked cooking. There's just way too many DIYs for cooking, and I'd prefer the non-cooking ones, or at least at the beginning, so I've just never bothered to go and buy. Actually, I don't even know if I can. I just haven't tried it. Look at that, Ava is crafting something up. What are you making? A fancy mum wreath. Nice. Ooh, now that it is springtime, I'm actually going to want to make everyone a new wreath for their door. I gave pretty much everyone snowball wreaths. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Look at that. We got one of them done. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go dive for sea creatures. Just because that usually, other ones could double up with my dailies. This one, I can't double up with anything. But maybe this, by doing diving sea creatures, maybe I'll get them and I'll get sell items for bells. And therefore I can complete that one and the sell fruit one at the same time. right. I will say that even though I've been extra careful to make sure that I'm not like gaining from other people going to treasure islands or anything, I've actually only opened up my island once. And it's because I had a super crazy turnip price, so I did get some tips, but generally I've just been working my butt off. But because I understand how to play the game, it's been really easy to kind of make bells and just get all my level ups and everything. I've been focusing on my house just because that means more storage, and I am a hoarder in every game I play. So I've definitely been focusing on that. Yay! I love to give away the first scallop of the day. See what I get today. And then now that I seem to not have storage issues for a while, I am saving up for one more house upgrade, but then I'll focus on doing island things like bridges and inclines. You don't have to think what others tell you to think, but if they tell you to think about popcorn, consider it. You know, that's pretty solid, Pascal. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hope you can add that. Not quite an affirmation, but you can always tell yourself that in the mornings. Popcorn's not such a bad thing. Alright. Let's keep on swimming, looking for those bubbles. With the change of seasons, I'm going to assume there's probably a change of what sea creatures and bugs and stuff I can get, so I'll definitely want to check that out. I use an app called ACNH Guide. I actually paid to get rid of ads, even though the ads are super not intrusive. I just figured that paying might actually benefit the creator of the app more, and hey, bonus, I never accidentally click them, but I use it all the time to keep track of everything. Oh, this is a fast one. I'm gonna have to use different tactics to get this one. I really love to keep track, make sure that I get like my 2 furniture out of my trees every morning and all that. I actually was considering making a guide for those completely new to Animal Crossing, what I wish I knew when I started. It will cover things that people who have previously played any other Animal Crossing games probably won't care, because it will be like, well, I knew that from old games. No, I'm talking somebody like brand new to Animal Crossing, to the franchise in general, who's starting out with New Horizons, considering making a video for that. Alright. Got ourselves a few of our creatures. Alright. We need to go fishing for a sea bass. And I'm pretty sure that's a large one. Pretty sure that's a large fish. Normally, some of them I need to look up where they come from. But, you know, when sea is in the name, I can be pretty confident I know what body of water I need to be fishing in. But yes, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a large fish. So sometimes, you know, if I'm not in the middle of making a video, I would actually go and fish all of these guys as I go. But I figured, hey, I'll just kind of run around and try to get to the point. This looks like a large guy, so we'll try to reel him in. A weird thing that I do when I'm fishing in Animal Crossing is actually like look completely away from the screen. Sometimes seeing the fish go in catches me up, and I end up trying to reel it in when he didn't actually hook on. So I find I do a lot better if I just listen by sound. Alright. Oh, and whenever the picture one pops up, we just do that reel super fast just because it's so easy to do. Might as well get it undone and possibly unlock a new one. There, see? Sell shells. And while we were looking for a fish, we were actually out picking up shells, so we should be able to sell all those. I started always using... So I have quite a bit of wood, though I do use it, but I hate like going around just chopping wood after wood after wood with all my trees. So what I start is whenever I am harvesting fruit from a tree, I use an axe instead of shaking it, because that way I get one piece of wood while also getting the fruit. I do not do it on other trees. I use a net and I shake because I don't want to get stung by wasps. Right now I have peaches, which is my main, my native fruit to my island. I have oranges because that's what Mom mailed me the very first day. And I got apples by a villager randomly giving me an apple while they were visiting my house. So that's the fruit I have right now. I've heard you can only get 3 fruit without trading or getting other kinds from other people, but I'm kind of just waiting and seeing. I've used some Nook Island tickets, but not a ton. See, I kind of leave them by my entrance. I definitely have not used a whole ton, but I've used some, and I've never got anything but peaches, so I don't know, maybe that's where the apple comes from. Maybe if I get one of the, new fruits, it's going to be apple. And if I see this guy, I just do it, because you know what? I completely always forget. And then I'm lacking days, and I won't have money tree. I always do 10,000 bells because I believe I read up that 10,000 bells is the maximum you can do where you're guaranteed to get 3 times your amount. If you do more than that, you might not necessarily get 3 times your amount. Alright, let's go sell some fruit and sell some seashells. Wow. Oh, a hammock! Oh, go! Yes, we got big news! Beautiful! Oh my goodness, I actually like quite a few of these things. Another reason I restarted my island. I actually felt like I never understood why I would want some items, so I would never purchase them from the shop. But then later on when I realized like I wanted an art area and a music area, I was like, well, I've had all these things for sale in my shop and I just never bought them. Why? And now I'm on the ball and I make sure to buy anything that, might interest me at all. Sell all the things. Beautiful, thank you. Now, the reason I'm still stocking up on Nook Miles is a huge reason also why I restarted my island. I didn't understand about choosing villagers, and I just got as many villagers as fast as possible last time, and I hated a whole bunch of them, and I couldn't get the ones I didn't want to leave. Now I understand how you can actually go about getting the villagers you want. So I've been turning down campers, but then every once in a while, if I don't need to really, if I have a day of gaming and I'm not feeling rushed, like maybe after I upgrade my house, I'm going to do a day of, I'll build a lot and I'll use a ton of Nook Mile tickets. And I'm going to be like, oh, looking for a villager I want. I did do that at the beginning, even with my first 2, or the very first 2 you can't pick, but the 3 after that, when you do the 3 lots, I did, but I didn't pick my favorites because I knew that they have a default house, not their, custom house. So I just kind of picked people I could tolerate, but I do plan on getting rid of. And I already think I got rid of one, even. So that was nice. How many more seashell things do I need? 2. Okay, so I just need 1 more. But since we're right here, we're going to do that one, and we have to knock a rock. And knocking a rock is part of my regular dailies that I would do regardless, so that's why I'm making sure to take the time to do it, even though it is not a ×2. The goal is to get at least all the ×2 and hoping the following 5 fit in with your dailies anyways, if the ×2 ones, or times multiplied ones, sometimes it's better than ×2, aren't, or are. Bada bing. And even something as little as trying to, I think it's Nook's Cry at the beginning, where you have to give the iron and all that. I didn't know how rocks work, so I was not getting as much material as I now do when doing it. So I was able to get Nook's Cranny immediately and stuff like that at the beginning, now that I understood all these little tidbits. Let's sell. Thank you so much. Sounds good to me. So my saving strategy is every time I hit 100,000 bells in my pocket, I go and deposit 100,000 bells. Once I have enough to pay off a level of my house, then I do. Alright, so let's go get fossils. Oh, how many fossils do I have to get assessed? Probably 3 and I only have 2. Getting my fossils is also part of my daily, so I'm going to do that one first if it's already on here. Essentially, my dailies are shaking for my furniture, knocking all my rocks, getting all my fossils, and digging my money tree. And that's my dailies. Oh, and my message in the bottle, which we so happen to also pick up already. What we're doing? Alright, we're looking for fossils. Hello, fossils. I kind of divided out my peach trees to the section of my island that has all my villager houses. Therefore, they're generally just for decoration. I'm actually probably going to cut back even further on them because they're not money makers, but I still want a couple. And I'm using fruit as a big money maker here, which is why I have so many fruit trees. As I get farther in the game and I don't need as many bells, and because I actually want to do some more designing, I'll definitely cut back on the fruit trees on my main portion of my island. I also now don't feel rushed to finish the game, or like finish to the point, I mean, of getting KK to visit. I'd rather just kind of make it my way, so. Assess some fossils for me, please, Blathers. T-Rex torso and T-Rex tail, nice. I've been kind of skipping doing it, and usually I, do everything in my app as I go along, like what rocks have I hit and all that. I have them labeled properly in my app. I missed not doing that while I make this video because I'm like, oh, well, it's just one day. But I do want to keep track of what fossils I'm giving him, so I am taking the moment to do that. It's a little easier because it is both T-Rex. Why are we not working? Oh, it's like T dot space Rex. No? Tail and torso. Oh my goodness, this is gonna make my T-Rex. I'm fine. Alright, so now that none of them really fit in with my dailies, some days I would go ahead and change, just because that's a really easy one. You know what? Here, I'm gonna do it anyways. Let's go change. Wonderful, we did that. Now we are off to go find our furniture. I always put a pipe here to where my campsite is, so it's easy to check for my campsite and kind of get to the top corner of my island. Another thing I did is I tried to keep it reasonably similar to how your islands naturally are. Like all my cedars up top on the highest level. Oops. I would like the nut as well. But I did make it so only fruit were on that very bottom level. That way I know that I don't need to shake any of the ones down at the very bottom. Yay, we already got one of our furnishers for the day. So something I do is I kind of go in the same direction every single day. So I'm always shaking my trees in the same way, kind of always knocking my rocks, in the same order, so that even if I forget to use my app, I'm kind of pretty sure I did everything I'm supposed to. I call that my South River rock, the one I did first. That's the one I always do for Nook Miles first. So it's always the easiest to, I don't know, I just remember I always do that one first if I had Nook Miles. And then, yeah, I kind of do my trees in order of levels, and I have a little system to hopefully not miss any. Once I do get both of the decorations or the items, then I do stop shaking trees. I only do it for that long. Those things are what's most important to me. The other things aren't so important. I know some people make sure you get all the bells or all the wasps. I really don't care as much. So it's just the items. Oops. See, I'm going in the wrong direction. I wasn't using my brain. Trying to rush through everything. And here's my second item, so I am not going to worry about the rest of the trees. I don't care. I really just care about getting my items for the day. So hip hip hooray. Now it's time to finish smashing all the rocks. In my old island, I did manage to finish up the fossil part of the museum. I got all the fossils. I did manage to get my island to be 5 stars, and I was actually surprised that my island was not nearly as complete as I thought would need it to be for 5 stars. But once it got to 5 stars, I kind of finished the fossils, I was like, you know what, screw it. If I'm going to restart my island, now is the time. And I did it! And I have a little bit of regrets that I didn't figure out how to record my Nintendo Switch by that time. I do have a capture card with my dual PC streaming setup, but I did not want to have to undo it because if I put something in back wrong or whatever, that's a lot more complicated. I picked up a second capture card. Oh no, my net! So that I could actually specifically capture my Switch. I wish I could have given you a tour of my previous island. It wasn't very complete by any means, but there were definitely some nice areas. Of course, I had terraforming unlocked and all that, so there was pathways everywhere, and it was really nice that way. I'm really cheap that whenever I craft tools, I always you craft the lower level, and I use it for a little bit, and then I go and upgrade it, because then it resets the durability. I probably don't need to be that cheap, because materials are not something I'm short of, but, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I'm cheap like that. So, get back, have to go to the one above Nooks. Oh, hello! Today, not in this video, but today I will probably go and give all of my villagers a new wreath to put on their door, and I will gift wrap them. I don't know if it's true, but I read on the internet, and you can believe everything on the internet, right? But I did read that if you gift wrap your villagers gifts, that they like it even more. Even with the villagers I'm not a fan of, like Mira there, that was one of my base too. I'm still trying to make them super happy so that maybe they'll give me their photo before one day if they want to leave. I'm going to be like, adios, see ya, I will not miss ya. But, you know, it'd be cool to get their photos. So, and those villagers, I tend to give like items that I get out of balloons or out of trees that I'm like, I am never going to use this, and I use it just to rack up, you know, points, because with items, they don't care what it is. You get the same amount of points regardless, whereas clothing actually has to be something they would like. So here we go. That was my day. That is what I absolutely try to get done every single day. I try to get all the multiplied Nook miles, and I try to get all my rocks. I get the two things from the trees, and then I just kind of do whatever. So now, like I said today, I'm gonna go make a bunch of wreaths and give them to all my villagers. But that's not a normal day. But yeah, there you go. This is a day of dailies on Bizz's Island. If you want to see any other Animal Crossing New Horizons videos, let me know what you want to see, like ideas. I already have an idea for, like, if you've never played Animal Crossing before, here's, 10 things I wish I knew. And once my island actually gets a little more developed, I'll, show it off every once in a while. But if you have any other ideas, let me know. Thank you for watching. I'm Miss Bizz. Bye for now.